By the way, did you see they raided the Fulton County place, storage house? And now the Democrats have hired a massive team of lawyers. They have the ballots. That should be no problem, right? They have the ballots. FBI came in and raided. They found plenty of stuff. And now they have the ballots. And the Democrats are fighting like hell, and I think it goes before a judge tomorrow, to not let anybody see the ballots. Why don't they want them to see the ballots after all these years? You know why they don't want? Because they cheated, that's why. They sent top lawyers down from New York to fight it. And I think it goes before a judge tomorrow sometime. They don't want them to see the ballot. They've taken the ballots, they have them now. After years, they got an order from the court, signed order from a very respected judge, and now they're trying to stop anybody from looking. You know why? Because they cheated like dogs. Agriculture.
I'm back with Ellie Pink. Hi.
Hi.
So I want to talk about Fulton County. We have an organization, Street Groomers, and you have been bringing a lot of injustices that's been going on in the state of Georgia, and particularly in Fulton County, whether it's the Fulton County Jail, the Fanny Willis, and a lot of local officials who are in a position of power.
Absolutely.
And Fulton County has been in the news for the past 2-3 years. We would go back to 2020 when Fanny Willis put RICO charges up against Trump and 10 other defendants. But anyway, fast forward to today. Now they're in the hot seat for election fraud. And they're hiring lawyers. The FBI seized a lot of voting ballots and tabulators and a whole bunch of other stuff to investigate, as they should, because it is a lot of election fraud going on in Georgia, in Fulton County, and and throughout this nation. But I wanted to zone in because I've been doing a lot of content. I wanted to zone in, bring you on today, and zone in on Black vote, Black people, particularly in Fulton County, because this article here, Fulton County Commissioner says Black votes are under threat. We're talking about attacks on election voters and disenfranchising Black and brown voters. This is Dana Barrett. She is on the Fulton County Elections Commission Board, correct?
No. She's just the Board of Commissioners. She's not on the election. Yeah, she has nothing to do with the election. Neither all three of the commissioners that are speaking out, they're all running for in a position, but none of them are on the election anything.
Okay, so we're going to break that down, but first, answer this question. Are Black voters under threat in Fulton County?
The only threat that the Black voters are up under are the leaders that we have in office right now.
Okay. So
they're under threat by their own people.
Black people, because the majority of the faces that are in office in these public officials, majority of them Black. They're Democrat.
Yes.
So the Black votes and disenfranchising of Black voters and brown voters are being disenfranchised and threatened
by their own people, by their own individual. It's the only threat that they have is the people that are speaking out, the commissioners, the state representatives, any officials I'm talking about the state of Georgia right now, because right now 90% of our people that are sitting up under any type of commissioners, any type of mayors, any of that are Black.
Right.
And so when you say threat, the only threat that we are up under right now is the threat of them being in office. Maybe that's how I should put it. It's the threat of them being in office and taking the Black votes, even for those that don't want to vote for them, because we know for a fact with the sheriff alone, I'm not saying no one voted for him, but we know for a fact people voted for Rambo and he won, they claim, with the 100% votes. So we know that right there is voter fraud within itself.
So,
and that is a threat for us, because how do you take our vote, suppress those that voted for the sheriff of Rambo, and tell the people that their vote didn't even matter? That's voter suppression. Right. You know, that's that democracy they keep on telling us about. So when they say our everything that they're saying to us about a threat, about attack, about a democracy, it's coming from them.
Mm-hmm. So
it's coming from them.
It says here that Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett is sounding the alarm for Black voters in Georgia amid calls by President Donald Trump to nationalize elections. Barrett, who announced her run for Secretary of State in January, sounded exacerbated over the phone Wednesday, shortly after learning the FBI raided Fulton County's election hub and operations center in Union City. It's just the Trump administration once again trying to distract from what's going on in Minnesota, and it's ridiculous, she said, in reference to the protests and the killing of that Alex Pretty. The FBI seized 700 boxes of the 2020 election ballots during a raid. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard was spotted. So, yeah, and Georgia Republicans, including Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, praised raid. So we have here Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett, Mo Ivory. We're going to get into her. None of these people here are actually on the Fulton County Election Board.
No, not one.
You have registration and election board. So these are the people that have direct contact with the ballots, you know,
right. When it comes that has any Shay Alexander, she's the one that signed off, did the count. You don't see her. She eventually came out there later on, but the ones that hold the weight of conversation is none of them that's standing out there right now. Now, the first three that was in the front, which was Marvin Arrington, Mo Ivory, and Dana Barrett, they're all running for a position. So right now they're campaigning. That's a campaign stunt.
So this is all a campaign stunt. And once again, they're using Black people disenfranchisement, the history of Black suffering, the history of voter suppression of Black people as a campaign narrative. So
absolutely,
I want to play this clip because civil rights, the NAACP put their
that's the Black KKK. Yes, that's the Black KKK.
Politics, and one right here in Fulton County. This is the latest development following the FBI's execution of a search warrant on the Fulton County election hub a few weeks ago. You're looking at video of FBI agents, evidence recovery teams working for a number of hours at the Fulton County election hub, recovering and seizing documents. Now, the NAACP, this is all according to the Associated Press, the NAACP and other organizations are now asking a judge to protect personal voter information that was seized by the FBI in that raid. The AP goes on to say that Georgia residents entrusted the state with their sensitive personal information when they registered to vote, and the January 28th seizure of ballots and other election documents from the Fulton County Elections Hub, the NAACP argues, breached that guarantee, infringed constitutional protections of privacy, and interfered with the right to vote. The motion by the NAACP and others asks the judge to, quote, order reasonable limits on the government's use of the seized data, and it goes on to ask the judge to prohibit the government from using the data for purposes other than the criminal investigation cited in the search warrant affidavit. So that would include prohibiting any efforts to use it for voter roll maintenance, election administration, or immigration enforcement. That motion, just filed by the NAACP and other parties to the motion. This is going to be the kind of case, this is going to be the kind of legal proceeding where you're going to see a lot of external parties working to get their motions before the judge here. You're going to see a lot of amicus briefs, and you're going to see a heck of a lot of litigation in the Northern District of Georgia, the federal court there, based out of Atlanta, where this case is before a federal district judge. We have been following it from the very beginning. We're going to continue to follow it right here on 11 Alive, and 11 Alive Plus is the...
All right. So this is Mo Ivory. She's been in the news. She was at a hearing that was put together by Senator Warnock. We have here Dana Barrett. She's another county commissioner. And the black guy back here with the bow tie, who was he again?
That's Marvin Arrington.
So they're not on the election board because the current members of the actual election board is Sherry Allen, who is a chairperson, Douglas Shelby, Democrat, Teresa K. Crawford, Democrat, Julie Adams, Republican, and they have another Republican member vacant. By the way,
that was Jason Frazier.
Right. And Fulton County has to pay $10,000 a day until they elect another Republican to be part of the election board, because you need 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And then the 5th spot, it has to be someone that the board elect on there.
So what the issue with the $10,000 a day, the judge had ordered them to put Julie Adams and Jason Frazier back on the election board, which they had refused to do. They allowed Julie Adams back in, and Jason Frazier, I don't know why they are still continuously to keep him out of the breach, but they have not allowed him back in. They went and filed some paperwork to block the $10,000 a day until, they put in a hearing for them to go back into court to try to, because they're trying to remove them. Once again, it's a Democratic, demon-ratic situation that they are doing. It's just all the way across the board, all the way wrong. Let's get back to the NAACP, because it's so funny how they always jump in the limelight of stuff that when we need their helps for voter fraud, when we're talking about it and it's being put out, for the Black communities, they're never there. But then here it is, you jump in this particular situation to say that something's under attack. Once again, the NAACP nationwide is the Black KKK. I said it, I mean it. I can stand on it and prove of it, because they are not here to help us. They are here to help the narrative, the false narratives that get pushed against us so that we can continue to stay in bondage of it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I hate. You come in here, you say, hey, they shouldn't have done this. So why weren't you around when we were crying out about you guys putting stalkers, people that have been to jail because of stalking, and allowing them now to run for a position in the state Senate seat, and they have personal information of people's homes, and you allowed them to have this, saying that, they have rights. So now the feds come up in here and raid something we all been asking for. Now I can see if this wasn't something that Georgia wasn't asking for, but this is something we all been speaking on for years, whether they've been listening or not. Like I told them before, that's their fault.
Right.
But now, all of a sudden, now we're under attack. We've been under attack by these same leaders that are speaking up under the attack. They are the attack. The Mo Ivorys, the Ike Arringtons, or Marvin Arrington, excuse me, I have nicknames for them. But the Danas, Barretts, these are people that we've been up under attack, for years now. Well, Mo Ivory, let's go a little bit about her, because she hasn't even been in office for a year. She was nowhere to be found in 2020 for any of this. So for her frustration and, her thoughts and all of this, where were you at then in 2020? Because you were nowhere to be found. You never spoke upon any of this. You never spoke upon the things that were going on. We could not even find you. even during your election, your name wasn't even on the ballot in several locations. We had to call you and let you know, like, hey, Mo, because we was pushing her campaign. We were like, Mo, your name is not over here at this location, and it's not over here at this location. You know, and a lady named Maria, we got on the phone, got her on three-way, and we was telling her where her name wasn't at in these different locations. So evidently, she paid into the play into the situation. And that piece, I could say allegedly, but I feel like you paid something because all of a sudden you won. So let
me read out who she is, Mo Ivory, because I'm pretty sure people who have been following this Fulton County election fraud have seen her face, because every time there's a camera and a microphone, she's in front of it.
Oh yeah, she's thirsty.
She is Fulton County Commissioner for District 4, serving a term from January 1st, 2025 through December 31st of 2028, representing central Atlanta neighborhoods. That includes the Tyler Perry Studios, East Points, College Park, and she focuses on property tax, education, public safety, and infrastructure. Has nothing to do with elections. Commissioner Mo Ivory, she is the first, they're saying, Afro-Latina member of the board. So she's not really Black. Black American, no. District focus, Central Atlanta, parts of Midtown, downtown, surrounding neighborhoods. She announced her candidacy for Fulton County Commission Chair. So she is running for Rob Pitt's position, and Rob Pitts is the one that pushed her and elected her to run for the District 4 Commission seat, and now she wants his seats. So going back to Black voters under threat, no, these people are using Black people narrative as a campaign tactic, because Dana Barrett she wants to run for state secretary, and her competition, Dana Barrett, that's the white woman there. Her competition for state secretary is, I believe, Calvin King. Calvin King's wife, because he's a Republican, she's a Republican, Calvin King and his wife. His wife, Janelle King, she sits on the Georgia State Election Board, because they just had several hearings where the truth came out of how non-citizens, illegals were voting, and not only voting, sitting in on as jury members. And I want to play this clip here of Janelle King, because I love the way, I love what she had to say in this clip that I'm going to play.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, those in favor of approving the minutes for November 12th, 2025, Maine State Election Board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing no opposition, I'm sorry, the chairman also votes aye in order to have a quorum. Motion carries 3-0.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next items on the agenda is old business. The first item is update on subpoena for 2020 election documents and ballots from Fulton County. Who added that to the agenda?
Both of us, all of us.
All
I
of
mean,
us.
Okay.
we all
Couple of
did.
the board.
Comments or questions from the board related to that topic?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I don't mind starting. I haven't made a public comment around my thoughts surrounding the Fulton County seizure that took place. And so I wanted to provide that today. I've written them out, so I'm just going to read my notes. That's okay.
Please.
I think by now everyone is aware of the FBI search and seizure that took place a few weeks ago. From day one, before anyone knew what was in the warrant, the narratives began to swarm, which we all began to hear. While it is public knowledge that I was contacted by the Bureau, I had no idea the seizure was going to happen or when it was going to happen. But I hoped for it because, as you know, we also subpoenaed for those same documents. But let me tell you why. When I joined this board, Speaker John Burns gave me one requirement, and that was to do the right thing. That was my only mission. I knew that I had a lot to learn. I knew that there were opposing perspectives and a deep-seated mistrust in our system. But what I did not expect was the number of people who would insist that the election was perfect and one of the best in the country, yet cannot explain how the process actually works once the ballot leaves the voter's hand. That's where I felt like I could assist the most. I'm here to shine the light on issues that have stayed in the dark, that have kept people in the dark. Who you vote for is the only secret part of the election. Every other step must be transparent and it must be easy to understand. So you can't do your duty as a citizen if you don't have that understanding. So to be clear, we're not here because of conspiracy theories. We're not here because of sore loser activists. We're not here because a little bit of fraud that wasn't enough to change the outcome. And we're certainly not here because of some power trip to target Fulton County. We're here because our election has been in question for a long time, well before 2020. In 2018, Stacey Abrams distrusts the process, claiming of vote flipping, hacking vulnerabilities, and machine crashes. Many of the same people who are upset with her questioning today, many of the same people who were upset with us questioning the elections today supported her back then. We fast forward to 2020, and we all went to sleep with Trump in the lead. Our Secretary of State even confirmed in an interview on election night that Trump's lead was significant. We woke up and the lead was gone. That raised questions, and it should be rightful questions. It's okay to question. After the first hand count, it was discovered that 4 counties forgot to upload 6,000 ballots, 1,300 of which were from Trump. Over the course of 3 audits, we got 3 different outcomes. Unfortunately, the machine audit said Biden won by 12,670 votes. The hand count showed a lead by 12,284 votes. The certified vote landed at 11,779 votes. Our job is to make sure your vote is not only cast without barriers, but that it counts. Your vote is disqualified if it isn't cast, but it's also disqualified when it's cast and isn't counted properly. It's disqualified when a coding error causes you to vote for the wrong candidate. It's disqualified when someone who isn't legal votes 23 times in our elections and votes on how your taxes are to be spent. It's disqualified when 300 people vote in your city race without you knowing, giving you a council member you did not elect. It's disqualified when a neighboring voter decides who your mayor will be, effectively canceling your voice. We are here because the public asked. Americans did their duty. They researched, they asked questions, they demanded answers. Because of that, we now know there were ballots that were double counted and tabulated. As we can all see, the recounts were off. Thanks to the efforts of many, we now see that our voter rolls are inflated statewide. And they were inflated when nearly 7 million ballot applications were sent to every registered voter, meaning a house where one person lives could have received multiple applications. This opens us up to ballot harvesting like never before. But this isn't a problem that is new. I've worked in Georgia politics for over a decade. I remember door knocking years ago and noticing that some addresses on my app had upwards to 13 names associated with them. And when I knocked on the door and spoke to the resident, I was told that only 2 people lived there and that the rest of the people on the list were previous tenants. That was over a decade ago. Yet there's still a consensus from some that we are not to question our elections or our elected officials, which could not be further from the truth. Protecting this republic isn't just the job of a politician. It requires personal responsibility from every one of us. There is a universal rule in politics that when the people drop the ball on our duty, the government will always be there to pick it up. And we're not going to like how the government carries it. Voting isn't just a choice, it's a duty. It is the price of admission for a free society.
To pause it here, anything you wanted to say to what she's saying so far?
Absolutely. I really want people to focus in on what she is saying, because this is what the news is not going after. You see they're going after Mo Ivory that has no intellection to what's happening directly inside of the election board. She is on the election board. Why ain't she going onto these interviews and people questioning and asking her the questions that Warlock and also and all of them are asking? They're asking Mo Ivory that has not even a year experience on the board. Like, for me, and that has nothing to do with the election at all. Like, she's not on the election board at all. So it just bothers me that they're not talking to her. The news, Channel 11.
Talking to Janelle King.
Yes, they're not talking to Miss King. They're talking to Mo Ivory, that has no
they're talking to irrelevant people. They have nothing to do with the election. This is not even talking a lot because
exactly.
Sometimes it's better to just be quiet.
Her campaign. She's pushing her campaign. She's pushing a false narrative. She is putting a fear to our Black voters that there is, a threat to their vote. But the only threat, and I'll continue to say this, is them, is the Mo Ivorys, is the Marvin Arringtons, is the Dana Barretts. Those are our threat. And any of the other ones that were standing up there speaking about something, they had no idea of what they're speaking about because they are not on the election board.
And they have no job description.
That's not their job description. They can't even handle their job.
Her focus is tax, infrastructure, and education, not election. Absolutely. But she's constantly in front, Mo Ivory and Dana Barrett, constantly in front of a camera and a microphone. So
they're campaigning. They're campaigning. They don't really care about the American people. They don't care about us. They don't care about any integrity. They don't care about any of that. Their whole job is to push a false narrative against our people so that we can believe that we're under attack, and they are the attack that we are up under.
And right now, we are being forced to play the role of the adult in the room. And let's be honest, being the adult is difficult. It means making the tough calls. It means demanding standards when everyone else is shouting for convenience. Americans have drawn the line in the sand. It is us saying that our sovereignty is not up for negotiation and our votes are not up for erasure. The only thing that separates us from a banana republic is our ability to choose our own leaders. And right now, the level of vulnerability in our system puts all of our votes at risk. This isn't because our election workers are bad people. It's because they have bad leadership. As a result, they are underfunded, overworked, and left to fend for themselves as if we're living in the wild, wild west. The days of defending those we elected to represent us are over. We are here to trust the word. We are not here to trust the words of politicians who seek their next office the moment they win the first one. We are here to hold them accountable to the job that we hired them to do. We are not the bad guys. Those who break their oaths are. The moment we start listening to weak narratives and parroting misleading talking points is the day we hand over our power and lose this country. It's time to stop making excuses for a broken system and start verifying the one thing that keeps us all free, and that's the American vote. And if you don't guard it, if we don't guard the gate, nobody will. That's my thoughts.
This is why, I applaud everything Janelle King said. And I love people with common sense. I don't care if you're white or Black, but, this is her husband, Calvin King. He's running for Secretary of State.
Yes.
And,
got to get him in there.
Yes, because we need more people like this
Yes.
who come into office with integrity, who, want
Yes.
fair elections, want to do the right thing by the people. And that's what it's about. And so I want to swing to this person here, Dana Barrett.
And I want to say something, because this is the reason why we come to you guys, the podcast, that are going to get the right information out. And we ask you guys to continue to share, continue to get these people on your show, because the news is not, we have fake news down here. I will say it to their face. We don't trust this news down here. The CNNs, the Channel 11s, the Fox 5s, the Channel 2s, they are all paid out. Okay. And some of them I will put it allegedly on there because I'm not for sure. But the ones that have told me directly that some of the anchors that was working there, no longer working there, but they're like, Pink, they will not get the stories out. They're sold out. We're only being told to put out certain things. Like, I have messages and I have emails that I have sent out to some of these news that are directly coming from inside, and they block all that. Just like the woman. Now here it is. They got Dana up here. We got a Mr. King that is running, and you want to go for what Dana is saying? Dana don't know if she's black or white. She's so straddled the fence because her whole district was all black and Democrats. So she had to, get on board. But
right.
A lot of this stuff.
Wait, but she's a white woman, or is she mixed?
Yeah, she's white. No, she's white. No, she's far from. You would think she's mixed because she hangs out with, that this is what she's having to do.
She's commissioner.
Her district.
She's Fulton County commissioner representing District 3, and that includes Buckhead. Isn't that real black? Buckhead,
if that's what you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Democrats. It's Democrats.
It was Democrats.
It's a Democratic district. She has a Democratic district. So,
and then parts of it, Sandy Springs and Midtown. But again, her priorities are addressing criminal justice reform, public safety, public health, ensuring that our government is transparent, accessible, ethical, and efficient. Girl, you need to focus on crime and public safety and the public health, not elections. It has nothing to do
none of that.
People. Mo Ivory is in front of the cameras, and again, she is her. It says here, Commissioner Ivory is deeply committed to progress and serving as a resource for her community with a multifaceted career as an attorney, law professor, media personality, entrepreneur, all this stuff that has nothing to do with elections, because she has to focus on, her district focuses on taxes, education, infrastructure. So why are you talking about election when you're not even on the election board in the Fulton County?
Because they will allow them to run amok around us. Right now, they are all campaigning for new positions inside of the Board of Commissioners office. Like Dana was even running for chairman. But allegedly, Mo was supposed to have sit Marvin Arrington and Dana down and told them she wanted to run. So could they step down? Well, Dana stepped down and went to another position, and Marvin Arrington continued to run allegedly. However the case may be, it's all still staged. Every last one of them, instead of them doing what it's been done, and that's allowing Pitts to be the voice, because he knows what's happening, because he is coinciding with, the election board. Him and them, they stand together. You've seen him on several different, way before, him,
he's the chairperson of the Fulton County Commission. So again, if he's the one that needs to talk to the election board for whatever, not these three stooges here. Now, before we get up out of here, Fanny Willis. Yeah.
The Three Stooges.
Dana, Mo, and who's this black guy with the bow tie? I keep forgetting his name.
Marvin Arrington.
Yeah. So anyway, Fanny Willis, I'm actually going to be dropping a bombshell on Fanny Willis on Monday's show with the judge. Yeah. Because listen, if this is all really her fault, because she dropped the ball on that case against Trump, which she probably could have won if she would have kept her legs closed. So she is the face of all this corruption in Fulton County. She is the face of it.
I wouldn't say that she would have won. I would have said that they would have still been dragging it out. I will say that. I wouldn't say that she would have won.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't believe in my heart or soul, like at all, period. What I know down here for a fact, I'm not speaking about, y'all got to keep in mind, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not anybody that is, podcasting. I am someone that are boots on the ground daily. So, and I'm helping push these people. Mo Ivory, I helped push her campaign with Rob Pitts. Won years and years ago. I was with Sweet Arbor Music Fest. We pushed on his campaign. We went out and, campaigned for him. Khadijah Abdul Rahman, that's a commissioner. So several of them, I have been there to see these empty houses and campaign signs in front of this. This stuff is not happening. It's happening. It's happening right in front of our faces. And some stuff we wasn't paying attention about, because, it was just you out campaigning. You're not really paying attention. You see it, but you're campaigning. But now that when you go back and stuff like this is starting to unfold with the, President Trump's them saying that, he was trying to swindle out. Well, how would you know that by a phone call? Because VP Harris did the same thing. She called down here. She called. So were we supposed to arrest her because she called? She made a phone call asking, inquiring. Did anybody record that conversation so that they can come back and, use it into whatever motive they want to be? For him to question, Miss King just identified why he questioned what he questioned. You see what I'm saying? She just really put it out there like he was winning by this amount. And then all of a sudden,
right to question. You have a right to question.
Yes,
question.
Absolutely. And they made it like it was an issue or a problem for him to say.
Because Trump said,
use my language.
But that's because Trump said, go find me some votes. And that's not illegal. So that doesn't mean go steal it. That doesn't mean go make up people. No, that doesn't mean have non-citizen votes. No, go out there and find me some votes. Where, is there a district or a certain part of the city where people are not voting or whatever the case may be, but that is not illegal.
I took it like, now that when you look at it and you really see how Georgia is, I mean, basically without saying, he's like, go find my shit. What happened? How is this just happened? I mean, and I ain't gonna give nobody no words and put in their mouth, but because he said what he said. But at the end of the day, with us knowing what Miss King just said, that, hey, he was winning by a landslide before she went to sleep, and then she woke up and it was a whole totally different ball game. Then that there was some different traction going on.
Yeah, you need to start asking some questions. Now, before we get up out of here, you said that we just had Black History Month, and what should we call it now?
So, Black corruption is our new Black history,
right? And I'm laughing, but it's not funny because it's true. Black corruption is the new Black history because. Absolutely. Because, and I think we spoke about this as well when we was on the phone, 50 years ago, that's Black history, right? And 100 years ago. So let's fast forward to 50 years from now. 50 years from now, when Black people look back to 2026, that's all they're going to see is corruption amongst Black people.
That's all they're going to see.
And this is what
people going to jail for fraud, people going to jail for money laundering, people going to jail for house. There's a Black individual down here that had, and I'll send you the article, but she was paying from housing, paying her own mortgage. Like who?
Yeah,
where do we put it on that?
Yeah, it was another Black guy. I forgot his name, but I reported on that with the show with the judge where he's getting arrested for COVID fraud. He worked for the city, but he also was claiming and collecting unemployment benefits, and he also applied for a COVID loan for a business that he's allegedly supposed to have. So he was collecting 3 different salaries. Yeah, black guy. So we're
double dipping off of that's money from our people. I mean, like, come on. And then we got all these homeless people.
One last thing, because Mo Ivory, District 4, part of her duties is taxes. So aren't the county commissioners, isn't it their job to investigate such fraud if somebody is collecting unemployment and they're not supposed to, or you're trying to if you got COVID money and you weren't supposed to? Isn't that the commission or the board of commissioners' job is to investigate those people?
I want to say yes, but I'm not for sure exactly because there's been many people come down there for housing when housing
what I'm saying is, if you have constituents, American citizens, whether it's in your district, whoever district, if somebody is collecting unemployment benefits or doing something unethical, especially if you are a public
absolutely
public official, the commissioner, the Fulton County Commission Board, they're the ones that should be investigating fraud and crime. And they're not doing that. They're focusing on.
You would think that they would be. Oh no, our commissioners down here, a lot of them, their focus is on birthday parties and Christmas giveaways and turkey giveaways, and that's in proclamations. Right. Like I said, Mo Ivory got in.
What I'm trying to put together here is you have a black official who works for the county of Fulton, whether it's the city of Atlanta or what have you. Section 8 fraud, a black man who is a public office official, COVID fraud, unemployment fraud, and some other stuff. So you have these, Fanny Willis, you have these people committing corruption crimes, crimes, fraud, or whatever. It's corruption. And the very department, the Fulton County Commission Department, they're the ones that's supposed to be investigating what is going on with this corruption, with this unethical practice.
And you're absolutely right.
Doing it. So they're all in bed with each other. So
absolutely right.
The black vote, black people in Fulton County, state of Georgia, is not under threat because of Trump or the Republicans. They're under threat. Is under threat by the very people who they voted in these positions.
Yep. The Democratic parties. And I won't just, because for me down here in Georgia, the Democrats most definitely rule, but the Republican parties that's down here, some of them, not all of them, they're just dead fish right now going with the flow because they're scared of the Democratic Party because they outnumber them. My whole thing of it is, and like I told them before, get some nuts. It's time for y'all to put some in behind y'all, get a backbone, because they are running amok around the Republican Party down here and amok around the community down here. The Board of Commissioners' jobs is to make sure that funding get out into proper places. If the sheriff needs money, if the DA needs money, if these different organizations that are abiding by what they're supposed to do for the community get money, and so when you're making sure all this money is being given out, you're right. They can go in now and do an investigation into where this money is going and what is happening, you know what I'm saying, within the community, so that they can make sure that they keep stuff running properly. But they're not, because they're so embedded into it. That's just like what my thoughts about Mo Ivory. You came in giving out proclamations like a marathon, giving out money like you were in a strip club. And then all of a sudden now everything is on the up and up, but you wanted all these people to get that you were giving money to get behind you to kickback money. Because you got to keep in mind,
it's illegal.
Exactly. She knew she was going to eventually get in this position and run for chairman. And my thoughts was she already knew when she came in that that's what she was. She just wanted a way in, a door in, because, and she knew she was lining it up. And the line was, hey, I give out these proclamations, I give out all of this money, and then they turn around and now I'm running for a position. They can give me a kickback to help me run and get chairman, because it all doesn't make sense. You have not done anything for your community. We had a massacre in Mechanicville that I had brought her to. She promised that community she was going to come back and help them. She never, ever have not been back to that community yet. But here it is. You want to run for chairman? Run yourself and sit down somewhere, because we ain't going for it.
Right. Listen, thank you always, Ellie Pink. Love to have you come back on. So appreciate you always taking the time out to shine a light on the corruption that is going on in Fulton County. And I urge people to go to your website, your organization, and support what you're doing. Tell the people where they can find you at.
You can always go to www.streetgroomers.org. Or you can, if you want to make a donation, our Zelle is 678-984-9241, or LA Pink 2728 if you want to cash app.
All right. And that information will be in a description as well, guys. So go and support, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Dana with your data. Dana with the data.